neodymium magnets, rare earth magnets. Tough word to learn. Neodymium magnets. Hey friends, if you're looking for some new desktop speakers that leaves a small footprint and still delivers some dope audio, I think this might be your new pair. The Audioengine A2 Plus wireless desktop speakers obviously will work well as desktop speakers as well as wireless speakers in your lounge. I'll leave links to the speakers and all the accessories I talk about in the description below. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Martin. This channel is all about tech, programming, UX, and productivity. If you're into that stuff, consider subscribing. I have a bunch of stuff in the pipeline. In my hand, I'm holding the Audioengine A2 Plus desktop wireless speakers. These were originally launched in 2013, so 8-year-old speakers, can they still deliver some good sound? Absolutely, I was pleasantly surprised. We'll start by unboxing this, then we'll dive deeper into what's going on inside and the build. We're gonna do some sound tests and some final thoughts at the end. Lights, please. A box within a box. What's this? Velvet bags? Feels a bit scruffy. These are microfiber bags. Nevertheless, bags are good. In the first bag, we find power cord, the detachable AC cord. It's 1.8 meters long. Next up, we have the USB cable. It's a micro USB cable, 1.5 meters long. Digging a little deeper into the bag, 2-meter long speaker wire. Speaking of wires, the one and only mini jack, audio jack, also at 1.5 meters long. The second bag has one job, and that is to house the power brick. Now grab yourself a quick guide if you're one of those people. Well, let's just put this here for now. Each speaker comes in its own bag as well. It's like a bag party in here. Lovely for traveling, big plus for packaging here. We got some extra padding, and in the end we find the speaker. Look at the size. This thing is smaller than my hand. Wow. Well, to illustrate the size, I'm gonna grab my AirPods. Hang on. Look at this. It's crazy small. Now let's see if we can find another speaker in this bag. This is the active left speaker. You can see all the knobs and inputs and outputs here. And now that everything is unpacked, we can start with the fun stuff. First, let's talk about the build. These speakers are small, but they're solid. They're made from 18mm high-resin MDF material. They weigh 1.5 kilo each, roughly. The dimensions are 15 centimeters tall, 10 centimeters wide, and 13.3 centimeters deep. They come in 3 different finishes. You have the satin black, the glossy red, and these right here, the glossy white. So you should be able to find something that fits your desktop pretty easily, I'd say. 20mm silk dome tweeters with neodymium magnets and 70mm aramid fiber woofers with advanced voice coils deliver the sound from these speakers. Fancy word, so what are they? The neodymium magnets are rare earth magnets that are the strongest magnets you can commercially buy at this point. The aramid fibers are strong synthetic fibers that can stand heat. So whatever hard dubstep you throw at these, they should be able to stick with you for a long time. The advanced voice coils, I don't know what they do. I guess they're just voice coils, but advanced. If you look closely, you can see these front port slots at the front of the speakers. They prevent the distortion from the heavy bass inside of the cabinet. Inside the speakers themselves, you also have heavy sound dampening materials. So you should be able to place these pretty much wherever you want without having to worry about vibrations going on and bzzing around your whole setup. If you want to use the speakers but angle them more towards your ears, you can buy some accessories. This right here is the DS1M. It's got an open profile. You can also buy the one with the closed profile, which is just called the DS1. So all in all, some speakers that you can place anywhere you want. They're tiny, small footprint, works as your desktop speakers as well as your lounge speakers. Setting up the speakers is extremely simple. First, you want to use the speaker cables. Pay attention to the color on the cables, pull it through the holes and tighten them. Make sure they're tight enough so you don't lose the grip. Like that. And then same procedure on the right speaker. Now the two speakers are connected. Next up is the power, which is located here. You can see it has this little black button on the top. This should be facing upwards. And then to turn it on, you can hear this click on the volume knob to turn it on, and then you just adjust the volume. So now the speakers are on. You can see the Bluetooth is flashing. It will say solid blue when you have stuff connected to it. You have a variety of options connecting your devices to these speakers. So we're going to start off with the USB to micro USB. The input is right here below the flashing Bluetooth lamp. Plug that in here. And then if you have a device with this USB-A connection, you can plug that in. Or you can use a dongle, in my case, for these USB-C type devices like the iPad Pro or the MacBook Pro. If you want to plug it in using a mini jack, you can do that as well. The input is right here. So just plug it into your speaker and then into your device. In my case, the MacBook Pro. You have the analog inputs and output here. So if you have an analog vintage record player, plug that in, or you can connect the subwoofer. Let's give the Bluetooth a ride. Checking my settings, I can see that the Audioengine A2 Plus is not connected. It's been paired before, so I can just tap it. And then I can go into Epidemic Sound and try some beats. Now we're going to dive into some sound tests so you can hear how much of a punch they actually pack. First, we're just going to play the MacBook Pro speakers, and I'm recording with the Rode Mini NT over here. And then we're going to swap over to the actual Audioengine speakers and see how that sounds. So apparently it's really hard to hear a good comparison when you have speakers here. The room is not treated at all for sound, and you're listening to this through everything. But I hope you were able to catch the difference between the two. The speakers on the MacBook Pro 16, they're excellent. It's a bit more punchy with the A2, but you can also hear that you most likely would want to add the subwoofer for the optimal sound experience. I wanted a couple of desktop editing speakers. Now, the MacBook Pro has some really good speakers, but I tend to put that on the side. These two pack 30 watts each. I could place them on either side of the monitor, and now I would have this nice stereo setup. One of the key points of this is that it has wireless connectivity. However, that's also one of the downsides, because the lag is enough to make it impossible for editing. When I use these for editing, I need to plug them in, but that's super simple. Click, click, and you're plugged in. So that's not really a big enough of a con to not get these. Audioengine states that these aren't studio monitors, but they carry over the design philosophy and the high technology behind a pair of studio monitors. With a flat frequency response, you should be able to EQ your sound to any other output out there. I also thought that the bass is good, but it was a bit flat, like I said. You have the option to buy the S8 subwoofer as well. So if you want to pair these up with the subwoofer, you can just get those. So all in all, the speakers can be used as your desktop speakers. Obviously, you can use them for work, you can use them for pleasure. The closest competitors that I've seen is the Kanto U4. However, they are way more expensive, so you get some really bang for bucks with this ones. If you want to pick up a pair or any of the things that I've talked about here, the links are in the description below. Hit like and subscribe if you like the content, and I will see you back here next time. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to set up a session for some chill sound.